Greetings everyone, it's Anna. I hope you're all doing well. Today we are discussing my most anticipated fantasy and one sci-fi reads of this year. Looking at my list, this is mainly like the most anticipated reads for the first half of this year because I think that's really all I've got so far. I'm going to start off with a couple of YA books. I haven't really kept my finger on the YA pulse. I am just trying to really concentrate on adult going forward, but these have been on my radar and I have arcs for them, which I am so excited about. So I'm going to talk about these two first. First up, I have The Gilded Ones by Nanima Former. I'm going to put this down or just turn it around because it's so shiny. But this one comes out February 4th. This was actually on my list for my most anticipated reads of 2020. I think it was supposed to come out in July, I think, of last year, June or July. But then obviously because of things that happened, it got pushed back to February of this year. So, which is great because I have an arc that I can now read. But this book is basically set around a young girl who is different to everyone in her village. She has to undergo a ceremony that all young people or women go through in her village, and she's hoping that her blood runs red. However, it runs gold, which is, I think, like an impure color in her society, and so she has to go. Someone takes her to, I guess, explore her powers, and I'm assuming it goes on from there. It sounds like it's going to be a wondrous coming of age story. I am really looking forward to this because I've been looking forward to it all year. It just sounds like it's going to be a good time, and it's been a while since I've read any young adult that I have really enjoyed, so I'm kind of hoping that it does live up to my hype, but I'm sure it will. Now for the next one, I actually have Witches Steeped in Gold. Like, look at how folks are spending money on gold foiling. Look at this cover. So this one is by Shannon Smart, and it actually comes out on April 20th. So this is basically set around twins who are rivals, and they are witches. It's also set in, I think, a fantasy version of Jamaica, or it's set around Jamaican mythology, I do believe. I don't know, but I am so excited to get stuck in because really and truthfully, how many times do you hear about fantasy and witches in Jamaica? Oh wait, I'm just really ready for all the fabulousness because it's not a story that I've personally read before, and I'm really trying to, if I do read YA, read something that is not a story or a background that I have personally really heard of before. And I think these two YA reads might be something to break my bad luck with YA. We will see, but I am excited nonetheless. I'm probably being really bad here, but I haven't done these books in the order that they're being released because it's just ones that I jotted down and went with it. So forgive me. But the next one on my list is Fugitive Telemetry. I don't know. It's by Martha Wells and it comes out on April 27th. It is the 6th book in the Murderbot Diary series. Folks, this book is actually probably my most anticipated book of the year because I adore this series so much. I'm currently in the process of rereading the books. I have read the first 4 novellas already, and I'm going to reread the 5th book in the series, and I also have a short story that I have and I need to get around to as well. It's set around this android. I think it's an android, but it's very sentient. So we are in this character's head for all of the books, and it's very sarcastic. It's very asocial. It just doesn't like people. It just wants to hang out by itself, but humans are always getting themselves into some sort of bother. It's a security a sec unit, and its job is to look after humans, and that's what it does. Unwillingly, but it does it anyway, and we all hear about it, and it's just a thrill to be in this character's head. And I'm fascinated to see where we do go in the 6th book, and I just hope that the author continues to write stories about Murderbot like to the end of time, because Like, give me all the Murderbot books because I will devour them. Right, next up I have The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri, and this comes out on June 8th. I believe this author is also a UK author, along with, I want to say Shannon Smart might also be a UK author as well. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling. But I like to highlight that because I feel like you don't often hear about UK authors doing big things in fantasy. So wherever I can, I would like to highlight that. But I've not actually read any works from this author. But this, as soon as I saw it and heard the premise, I added it to my Goodreads. So this is actually based around Indian history and mythology, I believe. So we have a princess, we have a maidservant, it's also sapphic. So I think we have that romance there. And then obviously it's also fantasy. So we have the princess has been imprisoned by her brother, who is like a dictator, and he imprisoned her in this temple. And so I guess she has maidservants that come up every night to tend to her needs, and she witnesses the magic of her maidservant, which I believe she's trying to hide. I don't know, but I am intrigued already. It's an adult fantasy, which again, I'm always here for, and just purely by the fact that it is from a culture that I don't really hear too much about in the mainstream in terms of these sort of fantastical stories. Already I am there. When you get stories that aren't really centered around Europe or European history or that kind of medieval books, it's almost kind of this unknown of what you don't really know what to expect. And I'm really excited because, like I said, I haven't read a fantasy based around Indian mythology before, so this is going to be like a new realm for me to check out, and I'm really interested. This next one is actually probably my second most anticipated read. It's coming very close to the next Murderbot book, but it is A Master of Jinn by P. Djèlí Clark, and he is an author I think is very close to becoming an insta pickup. This book is actually coming out on March 23rd, so very soon. I don't have to wait too long, and it's the third book in, I believe, I don't know what this series is called, but Goodreads just refers to it as the main character, who is Fatma El Shah Arawai, and this is set in an alternate Cairo in the I want to say 1920s or like 1910s, like early 1900s, and it's steampunk Cairo. It's alternate because we have jinn, we have magic, we have all of that good stuff, and I really enjoyed the first two novellas. The second novella didn't have Fatma in it, so I don't really know why the series is called what it's called, but it's really set around this ministry of alchemy, and well, not set around the ministry, it's really set around the agents of the ministry. So the first book, we had Fatma doing her thing, a jinn was murdered and she was solving that mystery, and it was set in around like a 24-hour period. And then the second one was based around two agents from the ministry, and they were trying to figure out why a tram car was haunted. That was a fun time. And this one, I believe there is a murder, and I think a prominent person is murdered in this time, and Fatma's on the case to figure out what's happening. I'm not really one for detective stories or mystery stories, but throw in some fantasy and all of a sudden I'm interested. But because I've already been introduced to this world and a character I already really like, I am so excited to pick this book up because the author really knows how to write anticipation, knows how to write fight scenes, just knows how to keep you on the edge of your seat. So I am very interested in what Fatma has to do. Also, she's awesome. She likes to wear men's suits, which really confuddles people because in this time women should be wearing dresses and doing women's things, but no, Fatma's here to shake things up and scare the menses. So we love her. Next up, I have The Unbroken by C.L. Clark, which I believe is their debut book, but it comes out on March 23rd. And I'm not gonna lie, this one, the cover got me interested, but once I found out more about the book, more of me was piqued. So this is, I think the main character was taken as a child to be a child soldier and to fight and kill. And that's pretty much all I know about the book. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of twists, turns, backstabbing, assassinations, maybe grimdark. And you know how I feel about grimdark. So we'll see. This might be a great new series that I can get into. There is an excerpt that you can find online. If I can find it, I will leave it below. I haven't quite read it yet because I'm not trying to read anything new until I finish anything I'm currently reading, which I have quite a few books I'm in the middle of. But once I'm not in between books, I will be reading the excerpt of that. I am debating whether or not I should just go ahead and read the excerpt though, because it is the first 2 chapters, but then I might end up shooting myself in the foot because the book doesn't come out until March, and then I read the excerpt and then I have to wait. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I will probably end up reading it. Now I have The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nouveau. This comes out on June 1st, and it's another book set in the early 1900s. This is set in 1920, and we are following a young affluent girl. She is adopted to an American family. She is Asian, she's also queer, and I believe she also has magical powers. I really love the imagery from the 1920s, and obviously the swinging 20s and that sort of time in history. So already I'm imagining the parties and the fashions and just an all-round fun time. Adding magic into that, I am just so here for it. So I'm intrigued to kind of see where the story goes, because from the synopsis, it kind of sounds like even though this character has led an affluent life, they're kind of treated as this sort of exotic creature. So I'm hoping we're going to kind of see maybe how they break out from that or like come into their own. I don't know, I'm just excited for all the flapper outfits and the fun times. Next up, I have The Conductors by Nicole Glover. This is coming out in March 4th, and I'm now realizing that I have so many new releases coming out in March that I'm most likely going to have to shuffle up my January TBR, because I have a few arcs to get through, and I waited because I got the arc for this book months ago, but I didn't want to read it until it was closer to the release date. But obviously now I have like all of these anticipated reads coming out so close together, and I really want to get to this one. So this is set during, I think it's just after the American Civil War, and the main character, she is a conductor in the Underground Railroad, getting people to safety, and I believe she also has like magic powers as well, or she has like magical abilities. So her and her husband, they solve mystery, so I'm guessing there's like a detective mystery vibe to it, which, like I've said before, it's not my thing, but you throw in magic and I am here for it. So one of their friends dies and they go about trying to solve the mystery of this person's death. I really enjoy books that subvert history and have an alternate sort of leaning to the history that we already know and I've already heard about so many times before. I really like it when authors just twist things around, because it's usually done with so much imagination that you're just really sucked into. Whilst there might be stories that you already know, you're sucked into something that feels completely new, and I am really looking forward to giving this one a go. Now we have Son of the Storm by Sui David Ogumboa. This is book 1 in the Name of the Republic trilogy. I don't actually know. I know it's a new series that this author is coming out with, and this is actually coming out on May 11th. We are following a scholar who, from the sounds of it, seems like they're quite bored of the monotony of their current life and wants something to shake things up, and they have adventure thrust onto them when they meet a shapeshifter or a skin changer who shouldn't really exist, and they come from an island that is apparently a myth, wielding a magical thing that shouldn't really exist either. And so it sounds like a trope that I do sometimes enjoy, which is people who are thrust into situations that they don't want to be in and going off into adventures that they have no business going off into. So we'll see what this new adventure brings. I have not read any of this author's previous works. I don't have any of their books on my shelves, but I have been interested in picking up this author's works, and I think this new adult fantasy is the perfect place to start. Now, lastly, I have A Court of Silver Flames, which is the fourth book in the ACOTAR series by Sarah J Maas. This comes out on February 16th. Now, I wasn't going to put this on this list. However, I have now made peace with the fact that I enjoy her books. I enjoy her Throne of Glass series, and I do enjoy the ACOTAR series. And honestly, I'm going to pick this book up when it comes out. So therefore, I am looking forward to it. I don't like the character who I believe this is going to be based around. She's just grumpy and mean and bitchy for no reason. So we'll see if the author tries to redeem this character. I don't know if they can be redeemed because they're horrible. I don't know how anyone can stand this character because she's terrible, but we'll see what happens to Nesta in this book, if she actually turns things around and becomes someone that I like, which is a tall order, but we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into this world, even though I thought the third book wasn't all that good. Anyway, I'm talking myself out of this book now. But anyway, I'm looking forward to picking up, and I'm going to do so when it comes out, just probably via the audiobook, because again, I don't enjoy her writing. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's good. We'll find out. So folks, those are all of the fantasy and one sci-fi that I'm looking forward to reading this year. Do drop below any books that you are looking forward to. Let me know if there's anything that you think I might enjoy or that should be on my list. Let me know. If you enjoyed that video, then please feel free to give the like button some love. And if you would like more videos from myself, then you are more than welcome to subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.